Hello there. You found me because you have a reading problem or you're helping someone with a reading problem. I've taught reading to students in all grades, K through 12, and adults, both developmental reading and remedial reading, for almost 50 years. My interest all these years has been on possible physical reasons for reading problems. It's not an intellectual problem. And then how to help correct them. And that's what I will share with you, what the research says, my research and that of others, says about the coordination between the brain, eye tracking, and the body that may cause reading problems and how to correct them in yourself. My doctorate is in education with a specialization in reading, both in remedial reading and reading instruction. And these videos will not be on reading instruction because there are plenty of YouTube videos for that. But these videos will focus on remedial reading. So let's get started. You probably know that the large mass of brain tissue is divided into two similar halves or hemispheres. And for most people, language functions are in the left hemisphere. When we compare the hemispheres as regards language and reading, and it's from stroke victims that we know this, the right side is more visual, noticing shapes and patterns and deals with fantasy. The left side is more auditory, noticing sounds and phonics, and deals with reality. The left hemisphere is where language functions are for most people. But for some left-handed people, these functions may reside in the right hemisphere, and we'll talk about that on another video. It helps to know if you are a visual or an auditory learner, and if you're using more the right or left hemisphere. That will help you know how best to take in the information I share with you, and it also will help you later to understand what's happening with the brain and visual tracking and reading. You may already know what kind of learner you are. For example, how do you remember the name of a new person you meet? Do you have to write it down? Or can you just remember the name you hear? Do you repeat it aloud, maybe over and over? If you don't know what kind of learner you are, let's try this little trick. I'm going to ask you a simple question, and you need to note which way your eyes go when you try to think of the answer. Jot down or remember which way they go, and then I will explain. Now look at me. What did you have for supper last night? Did your eyes go to your right? Most information that comes into the right visual field of both the eyes goes to the left hemisphere. So if your eyes moved right to find the answer, your left hemisphere seems dominant. You're probably an auditory learner and can hear information and remember it. You may have remembered something you heard connected with your supper. Or did your eyes go to your left? Most information that comes into the left visual field of both eyes goes to the right hemisphere. So if your eyes moved left to find your answer, your right hemisphere seems dominant. You're probably a visual learner, and you benefit by seeing information to remember it. You may have remembered something you saw connected with your supper. If your eyes went up or down when I asked you the question about your meal, you may be a kinesthetic learner. You need to walk or move while reading or studying. You can jump and swing your arms like windmills when you need to memorize something, and you benefit from writing summaries. If you're an auditory learner, left hemisphere dominant, read all your directions, stories, and text out loud. However, if you're a visual learner, right hemisphere dominant, write all your directions and information, highlight important information in colors. Here are some hints for the beginning reader or one with severe reading problems. The auditory learner would benefit by using kinesthetic/auditory phonics cards, such as the old Open Court program. You will have to search for these. For example, the B card has a beating heart. Auditory learners also benefit from an old program called Sing, Spell, Read, and Write, which has songs to practice the phonics rules. Mr. GH is a funny little friend. He's silent in the middle, but goes at the end. The visual learner would benefit from visual image cards, such as B equals a bat ball together. It's important for you to gain this knowledge about where reading is usually found in the hemispheres, because you will need this when I share in later videos about the two subsets of dyslexia and how to help each. And it's important for you to see that the vision fields stimulate the opposite hemisphere, because in the next video, you'll learn how valuable this cross stimulation is. I will begin to share how coordination between the body and eyes and the brain influences reading, how to evaluate your coordination, and hopefully correct any problems. I'm so glad you've come, and I hope to see you next time.